Dusk was drawing in, and the birds had gathered in the wood to sing their sunset song before they settled down for the night. Below in the deep grass, little furry creatures bustled about, each to find his cozy nest. Such a twittering and chirping, and such a squeaking and chattering. The noisiest bedtime you ever heard. Suddenly, every sound was stilled, and every eye was turned to stare at the strange little animal that had just come into sight. He trotted silently past the wood, looking neither to right nor to left, as though hurrying to reach somewhere before it was dark. Trot, trot, trot he went along, and not a sound was heard from the birds or animals until he faded into the shadows. "Gracious me," said Chaffinch, "who can he be? Where is he from?" asked the robin. "Where's he going?" piped Jenny Wren. "Never saw anyone like him," declared Hedgehog. "Couldn't believe my own eyes," squeaked Vole. And they were still at it when Brown Mouse arrived, out of breath and very excited. "Did you see him?" he gasped. "He spoke to me. Wanted to know if anyone like himself lived near our wood. He had such big, long ears, I thought he might be a rabbit, so I sent him to the rabbit dell." He paused for breath and then went on. "He looked so shy and sad. I had to send him somewhere." In the dusk, the little stranger was still trotting along, bound for the rabbit dell where Brown Mouse had sent him. The big summer moon had just risen, and the rabbits were at play when the odd little creature arrived in the dell. Never had the astonished bunnies seen anything like him, but they politely gathered to ask his name. To their further surprise, he shook his head sadly, saying that he did not know. "Where is your home?" they questioned. The little stranger replied that he had none. He just kept on trotting along, up and down and up, looking for someone like himself, so that he could build a little house and have someone to play with. None could tell him where to find a playmate, so he must keep on looking for one. "How lonely you must be," said the rabbits. "But please don't go. Let's ask Big Brown Owl. He knows everything." So off they scampered to Big Brown Owl, who was taking the air in his favourite tree. The little creature trotted shyly behind them. "Owl," squeaked the bunnies, "we brought you the strangest animal in the world. Tell us his name and where he can find someone like himself, so that he can build a little house and have someone to play with." Owl, who was rather given to showing off his cleverness, laughed and said, "Bring him here, little bunnies. He may be strange, you know, but there's nothing strange to Big Brown Owl. I'll tell him everything in 2 winks of my eye." "Come here," they called. "Owl will tell you everything in 2 winks of his eye." When Owl saw their companion, his eyes opened wide with wonder. "Gracious me," he said, for never in all his life had he seen a creature like this one. "Please hurry," said all the bunnies. "We want him to play with us before bedtime." Poor Owl. He had not the least idea what to say. Big Brown Owl could only stare at the little creature before him. He looked at his ears, and he looked at his nose, and he looked at his tail, and he looked at his toes and said, "Gracious me," several times, over and over, wondering how to avoid looking silly before all the rabbits. "Rare animals," began Owl, "have long and difficult names, so that only the cleverest people can remember them. Yours is so difficult that I can hardly recall it. You'd better have a game whilst I think about it." "There," thought Owl, when they had all gone. "That's what comes of being too clever. What am I to do? I've got to find a name for this creature, or I'll look really silly. Buffer cow, crockeroo, a pussy goat, a billy cat, a gallipot, a polygot, a parlicoot, or... Wait a minute, that sounds rather nice. Parlicoot. Just suits him too. Parlicoot it shall be." Owl felt quite happy again and beamed around in his owly way. The little stranger was doing a funny little dance to please the bunnies, and then, to everyone's delight, some very clever tricks in the trees. "Aha," thought Big Brown Owl. "Only a tree animal can climb like that. It's in the woods he'll find his own kind. Come here, my little man, he called. I know your name now. Listen, most carefully. You are a lesser-spotted, gregarious Parlicoot. That is, a little Parlicoot who wears spots and is very fond of the company of his own kind. You are a tree animal.